السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. الحمد لله حمدا كثيرا طيبا مباركا فيه، والصلاة والسلام على من لا نبي بعده، أشرف المرسلين نبينا محمد عليه الصلاة والسلام. Brothers and sisters, we apologize for the delay. It breaks my heart that we're late, but it's okay, inshallah. We'll get right into the discussion. We will pick up from where we left off last week in our discussion on Surah An-Naml, particularly ayah number 19. Let me share the screen so you guys can be on the same page as I am. Right there. All right, here we are. Okay. So we already read this, and we're going to go to ayah number 19 now. No, did we do 18? No, we didn't do 18. Okay, we didn't do 18. We didn't even do 17. لحظة يا جماعة الخير. وورث علم النبوة وانضم عليه بلا. طيب, we did 16, so we are at ayah number 17, صح? If anybody can confirm. طيب, وحشر لسليمان أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم وحشر لسليمان جنوده من الجن والإنس والطير فهم يوزعون. And gathered for Solomon were his soldiers of the jinn and men and birds, and they were marching in rows. تمام. أي جمع له جنوده الكثيرة الهائلة المتنوعة من بني آدم ومن الجن والشياطين ومن الطيور. So gathered for him was a gigantic number of soldiers of variety, of many varieties. Whatchamacallit? I mean, am I supposed to stop the class and tell you when Mussab is going to recite, ya akhi? What kind? Yeah, fufuz, Allah yahdik. What a turn off. When the time comes, I just won't say anything. What do you want me to do right now? We said no chatting and no irrelevant questions during the class. Please skip it. I don't know where I'm at anymore. طيب. Anyways, from among the children of Adam, from among the jinn and the shayateen and birds. فهم يوزعون, so they were in rows. أي يدبرون ويرد أولهم على آخرهم وينظمون أو ينظمون غاية التنظيم في سيرهم ونزولهم وحلهم وترحالهم. So they are arranged wherein the first responds to the last one, and they are organized in such a manner in their march, in their descendants, and when they settle down in a place, and on their journey, when they are on the journey, meaning in the state of travel. قد استعد لذلك وأعد له عدته. So he had prepared himself for that, and he has the provision, necessary requirement and required provision for that journey. وكل هذه الجنود مؤتمرة بأمره لا تقدر على عصيانه ولا تتمرد عليه. Subhanallah. And all of these soldiers are at his command. They follow his command, and they are incapable of disobeying him or going against him. كما قال تعالى هذا عطاؤنا فمن أو أمسك أي أعطي بغير حساب. This is our offering, the one that Allah Azza wa Jal gave to Sulaiman. So either give bountifully or hold back, meaning give unrestrictedly. فسار بهذه الجنود الضخمة في بعض أسفاره. So he marched with this gigantic army in one of his travels. حتى إذا أتوا على وادي النمل قالت نملة, until when they came upon the valley of the ants, and ants said, O ants, enter your dwellings that you may not be crushed by Solomon and his soldiers while they perceive not. منبهة لرفقتها وبني جنسها. So it was, the ant was notifying its companions of its species, of the same species. يا أيها النمل ادخلوا مساكنكم لا يحطمنكم سليمان وجنوده وهم لا يشعرون. فنصحت هذه النملة وأسمعت النمل. So this ant advised and she made her voice reach the other ants. إما بنفسها, either on its own, by herself or by itself, ويكون الله قد أعطى النملة أسماعا خارقة للعادة. And it could be that Allah Azza wa Jal had given ants extraordinary ability in hearing, and that's possible. بسم الله. لأن التنبيه للنمل الذي قد ملأ الوادي بصوت نملة واحدة من أعجب العجائب. Because the ability of an ant to notify an entire valley of ants with the voice of one single ant is from among the most wondrous of wondrous things. وإما بأنها أخبرت من حولها من النمل ثم سرى الخبر من بعضهن لبعض حتى بلغ الجميع وأمرتهن بالحذر والطريق في ذلك. Or it could be that ant informed the ants which were around it, and then the news basically spread forward, and the ants, basically a group of ants informing the other ones, until the news reached everybody and they were told to be careful and to avoid that being crushed by Sulaiman. وهو دخول مساكنهن. And anyways, the command which was given to them that they needed to fulfill and obey is to enter their residency, to enter their dwellings. وعرفت حالة سليمان وجنوده وعظمة سلطانه. And that ant was aware of Sulaiman's condition and that of his army or soldiers and the greatness of his sovereignty. واعتذرت عنهم أنهم إن حطموكم أو حطموكم فليس من قصد منهم ولا شعور. Subhanallah. And it even fetched for a justification or an excuse for Sulaiman and the soldiers that even if they were to crush you, then it would be without an intent on their part or without even perceiving. They wouldn't do this basically on purpose. فسمع سليمان عليه الصلاة والسلام قولها وفهمه. So Sulaiman heard, peace be upon him, heard her speech and he comprehended it. فتبسم ضاحكا من قولها. So he smiled, amused at her speech. إعجابا منه بفصاحتها ونصحها وحسن تعبيرها. He was impressed with the ant's eloquence and the nature of the ant's advice and how it articulated the advice. وهذا حال الأنبياء عليهم الصلاة والسلام. This is always the condition and the state of the prophets, peace be upon them. الأدب الكامل, complete mannerism. والتعجب في موضعه, and being amazed in the proper context. وألا يبلغ بهم الضحك إلا إلى التبسم, and that their laughter never exceeds smiling. كما كان الرسول صلى الله عليه وسلم جل ضحكته تبسم. Most of the Prophet's laughter was in smiling. فإن القهقهة تدل على خفة العقل وسوء الأدب. الله المستعان. A lot of us are in trouble, brothers and sisters. I better take a sip of coffee for this one. No. Because laughing, like loud, the way we laugh, is indicative of the خفة العقل, meaning you have low intellect and lack of manners. وعدم التبسم والعجب مما يتعجب منه يدل على شراسة الخلق والجبروت. And also the other extreme, which is not even smiling or being amazed at something that deserves to be amazed at, is indicative of the severity or the savageness in your character and your arrogance. وَالرُّسُلُ مُنَزَّهُونَ عَنْ ذَلِكَ, and the messengers are lofty and are praised above that kind of behavior. وقال شاكرا لله الذي أوصله إلى هذه الحال. He said in thankfulness to Allah who allowed him to arrive at this state. ربي أوزعني أي ألهمني ووفقني. Oh Allah, أوزعني. I just want to see how they have it translated here. So he said, enable me to be grateful for your favor which you have bestowed upon me and upon my parents, and to do righteousness of which you approve, and admit me by your mercy into the ranks of your righteous servants. Tamam. So here he said, oh Allah, enable me, meaning guide me, inspire me, give me success. أن أشكر نعمتك التي أنعمت علي وعلى والدي فإن النعمة على الوالدين نعمة على الولد. The bounty upon the parents is actually a bounty upon the child. The bounty that Allah Azza wa Jal gives your parents is actually a bounty that Allah is giving you. Subhanallah. And not all of us are privileged like that, right? Some of us, we have non-Muslim parents. Some of us, we have non-practicing parents. Some of us, we have parents that have all types of issues. Not everybody has the privilege of having rightly guided parents. So those of you who do, know that it's from the bounty of Allah upon you that your parents are guided. Because when your parents are guided, they fend off and they protect you and they defend you against the deviance and the drama and the trauma that the world has prepared for you. Your parents, which you may perceive as ruthless, as mean, as heartless, as merciless, as savages, are actually the ones that care about you the most in this world. And most children fail in understanding this, and they get that realization after their parents are gone. And they would wish then that they could only get the opportunity to tell them, thank you. Jazakumullahu khairan for what you have done. But they will not be given that chance. The best they could do afterwards is make a lot of dua for their parents and give a lot of sadaqah on their behalf and do as many umrah as they can to make up and keep kinship ties. Keep the kinship ties of those whom their parents cared for so that they can remember them and make dua for them. And that's the best that they will be able to do. But they will not be able to recover from having missed out on showing the adequate appreciation that the parents deserve. And it's a very sad state. So I advise all children or teenagers who today think that they have figured out this world and that they're so smart and they're so experienced and that they know what's going on. I would like to tell them to take a chill pill and kick back and broaden your thoughts and your mind and change your demeanor and take advice before you reach a point where you cannot fix what was once broken. So here Sulaiman is displaying this characteristic of praising Allah Azza wa Jal. أوزعني أن أشكر نعمتك التي أنعمت علي وعلى والدي. Your favor upon me and upon my parents. فسأل ربه التوفيق للقيام بشكر نعمته الدينية والدنيوية عليه وعلى والديه. So he asked Allah to grant him success, to establish the gratitude and the thankfulness for Allah's favors, both those of the dunya and those of the religion, upon him and upon his parents. Allahu Akbar. Meaning, when you know that you cannot articulate the thankfulness on your own, you ask Allah Azza wa Jal to give you that ability to do so. وأن أعمل صالحا ترضاها أي ووفقني أن أعمل صالحا ترضى, meaning grant me success to do righteousness that you are pleased with. لكونه موافقا لأمرك مخلصا فيه سالما من المفسدات والمنقصات, meaning that deed is in agreement with your command and done sincerely, free from anything which may corrupt it or make it deficient. وأدخلني برحمتك التي منها الجنة, and admit me by your mercy, and part of the mercy of Allah is His Jannah, في جملة among يعني عبادك الصالحين فإن الرحمة فإن الرحمة مجعولة للصالحين على اختلاف درجاتهم ومنازلهم. Oops, there goes my phone. طيب, إن الرحمة مجعولة. Of course, you guys know, if you know Arabic, you know كان وأخواتها وكان وأخواتها وإن وأخواتها, and those when kana or inna, depending on and its sisters or siblings, when they enter upon الجملة, then ترفع الاسم وتنصب الخبر, أو العكس, تنصب الاسم وترفع الخبر. So إن تنصب الاسم وترفع الخبر. Therefore you say إن الرحمة مجعولة. Just in case you're wondering why both of it does not have the tanween of dhamma. That's because of inna and the position that it holds in the grammar and the grammatical structure of a sentence. على كل حال, so the rahmah is made for the righteous, irrespective, على اختلاف درجاتهم ومنازلهم, irrespective of their levels and their positions. فهذا نموذج ذكره الله من حالة سليمان عند سماع خطاب النملة وندائها. This is then a sample or an example that Allah Azza wa Jal mentioned to us about the condition of Sulaiman upon him hearing the speech of the ant and the calling of the ant. ثم ذكر نموذجا آخر من مخاطبته للطير. Mu'adh, can you please come and give me my phone? Then Allah Azza wa Jal mentioned another sample of Sulaiman speaking to the طيور, to the birds. وتفقد الطير فقال ما لي لا أرى الهدهد أم كان من الغائبين جزاك الله خير. And he took attendance of the birds and said, why do I not see the hoopoe, or is he among the absent? So what is that نموذج؟ فقال وتفقد الطير دل على هذا على كمال عزمه وحزمه وحسن تنظيمه لجنوده وتدبيره بنفسه للأمور الصغار والكبار. This is an indication of Sulaiman's perfect determination and seriousness and organizational skills, and his structuring of his soldiers and his arranging of the affairs from the minor to the major matters. حتى إنه لم يهمل هذا الأمر, to the point that he did not even neglect this matter. وهو تفقد الطيور, and the matter is to inspect the attendance of the birds. والنظر هل هي موجودة كلها أم مفقود منها شيء, and to look, are all the birds there or some of them are missing. وهذا هو معنى الآية. This is the meaning of the ayah. ولم يصنع شيئا من قال. Now the Shaykh is about to refute a very popular tafsir out there. لم يصنع شيئا, the Shaykh is saying he has not established. You know the Arabs, man. The Arabs have the funniest insults in the world. You know what was the most, does anyone know what the most common and popular insult at the time of the Prophet ﷺ? Does any one of you know what was the most popular insult at the time of the Prophet ﷺ when an Arab wanted to insult another Arab? I'll give you guys a chance to write something. Madman? La ya Sheikh. Like a real curse word. Not just a label. What? Waynak? Wayhak? Ah, that's a good one. No. It's wayhak with a ha, not a ha. Anyways. La umma lak. لا أم لك. And there are a number of narrations from attributed to Umar ibn al-Khattab رضي الله عنه. Yeah, ثكلتك أمك was not a curse word, yeah, Aliyu. It was not a curse word. It was more of a dua that was not intended to be, to be materialized. المهم, لا أم لك meaning you have no mother. You have no mother. لا أم لك. And the Arabs love the word If they want to curse someone, they have to say ummak. Even though ummak really means your mother, but the way you say ummak can easily become a curse word. Now, of course, today, coupled with the word ummak, there's all types of words that the filthy, people add in terms of foul language. But we're not gonna go there. Obviously, that's way out of line. But what is common back then is la umma lak, meaning you have no mother. You have no mother. طيب. المهم, how did I get to this one? Hey, so the Sheikh said here, لم يصنع شيئا. He hasn't accomplished anything. He has not done anything. He hasn't achieved anything. One who says, إنه تفقد الطير لينظر أين الهدهد منه ليدل على بعد الماء وقربه. That he was looking for the hudhud so that the hudhud can tell him how far the water was or how near it was. كما زعموا عن الهدهد أن يبصر الماء تحت الأرض الكثيفة. And they claim that the hudhud has the ability to see water under thick land. فأن هذا القول لا يدل عليه دليل. This statement has absolutely no evidence substantiating it. بل الدليل العقلي واللفظي دال على بطلانه. Rather, both the intellectual and the textual evidence both indicate its fallacy. أما العقلي, as for the intellectual, فإنه قد عرف بالعادة والتجارب والمشاهدات أن هذه الحيوانات كلها ليس منها شيء يبصر هذا البصر الخارق للعادة وينظر الماء تحت الأرض الكثيفة. We know from experience and from observations that we have seen in the world. Hey guys, if I ask a question, let's just stick to the question and then khalas. Let's not continue with let's not stretch it any further. We'll come back to it later, inshallah. Tamam? That none of these animals have the ability to actually that have that extraordinary vision, that extraordinary vision where they could see water under thick lands. ولو كان كذلك لذكره الله. Had it been this way, Allah would have mentioned that. لأنه من أكبر الآيات. That would be among the greatest signs. وأما الدليل اللفظي, as for the textual evidence, فلو أريد هذا المعنى, if this meaning was intended, لقال, Allah would have said, وطلب الهدهد لينظر له الماء. And he searched for the hudhud so he can fetch for the water for him. فلما فقده, and then when he couldn't find him, قال ما قال, he said what he said. أو ففتش عن الهدهد أو بحث عنه, or he searched for the hudhud, or he was looking for him. ونحو ذلك من العبارات, or any expression of this nature. وإنما تفقد الطير لينظر الحاضر منها والغائب ولزومها للمراكز والمواضع التي عين لها. Rather, the reason why Sulaiman was actually inspecting and checking the attendance, he wanted to see who was present, who was absent, and who was in the position that was allocated for him. So meaning each bird had an allocated position that they were not supposed to abandon and leave. وأيضا فإن سليمان عليه السلام لا يحتاج ولا يضطر إلى الماء بحيث يحتاج لهندسة الهدود. Further, Sulaiman does not need or is pressured to find water where he needs the engineering skills of the hudhud. فإن عنده من الشياطين والعفاريت ما يحفرون له الماء. He already has working for him at his service from among the shayateen and the marada and the afarit, meaning the major powerful among the shayateen. All of them are working for him. They can dig up water for him. وَلَوْ بَلَغَ فِي الْعُمْقِ مَا بَلَغ, even if it has reached the deepest of depth. وسخر الله له الريح غدوها شهر ورواح شهر. Allah Azza wa Jal facilitated for him the wind for a month. It will take him a month in one way and a month on the way back. فكيف مع ذلك يحتاج إلى الهدهد. How will he still then need the hudhud after all of these privileges that were given to him? وهذه التفاسير التي توجد وتشتهر بها أقوال لا يعرف غيرها تنقل هذه الأقوال عن بني إسرائيل مجردة. Those tafasir out there that are found and that are famous for such tafasir and such opinions whom the narrations or the chain of narrators is unknown to us, they bring this information from the statements attributed to Bani Israel. ويغفل الناقل عن مناقضتها للمعاني الصحيحة وتطبيقها على الأقوال. And then the person relaying this opinion is absent-minded about its contradiction to the correct interpretations and the correct meanings, and also he's absent-minded about applying it to the statements that are in the Quran. ثم لا تزال تتناقل وينقلها المتأخر مسلم المتقدم. And then it continues to be conveyed to us, wherein the latter person conveys it assuming that the formers were on point. حتى يظن أنها الحق, until you reach a point where you think this is the ultimate truth. فيقع من الأقوال الردية في التفاسير ما يقع. Then you wind up having within the tafasir all types of weak opinions and weak interpretations that fill up these tafasir. واللبيب الفطن يعرف أن هذا القرآن الكريم العربي المبين الذي خاطب الله به الخلق كلهم عالمهم وجاهلهم. And then the intellectual and wise person knows that this noble Arabic Quran that is clear, the one whom Allah Azza wa Jal spoke through to the entire creation, the knowledgeable among them and the ignorant. وَأَمَرَهُمْ بِالتَّفَكُّرِ فِي مَعَانِهِ, and Allah commanded them to reflect on its meanings. وتطبيقه على ألفاظ العربية, and to apply it according to the Arabic words. المعروفة المعاني, the one that have very known meanings, those words that have known meanings. التي لا تجهلها العرباء أو العرباء, the one that the Arab, like the real hardcore Arabs, are not ignorant of. وإذا وجد أقوالا منقولة من غير رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم, and if you were to find any statements that are attributed or that are conveyed to you that are not from the Prophet عليه الصلاة والسلام, ردها إلى هذا الأصل, he will return this to the foundational principle. فإن وافقه قبلها, so if it agrees with it, he accepts it. لكون اللفظ دال عنها, because the terminology is indicative of it. وإن خالفته لفظا ومعنى أو لفظا أو معنى, and if it opposes this foundational principle, either linguistically or in meaning, or both linguistically and meaning either or, whether one of them or both of them, ردها وجزم ببطلانها, you reject it and you are assured that it is false. لأن عنده أصلا معلوما مناقضا لها وهو ما يعرفه من معنى الكلام ودلالته, because he has a foundational principle that opposes that, and it is what he knows from the meaning of the speech and its indications. This is, by the way, very much related to our Aqidah class and our ongoing warfare with the Asha'ira, and that we're taking straightforward Arabic words that have straightforward meanings, and we're keeping them as is, where they insist on the allegory and the metaphorical explanation and interpretation of ayat that have to do with the sifat of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, because in their minds they are insisting on likening Allah to His creation, and because they liken Allah to His creation, they want to now deny this tashbih, so they wind up denying the attributes of Allah, and they have this big whirlpool tornado that they're constantly going in circles in, while we are chilling on the side of the shore on the beach, drinking some mango juice and eating some healthy oil-free, salt-free potato chips, or butterless popcorn, or some dark chocolate, maybe 80-90% dark chocolate with no sugar added. We're just chilling. Ahl Sunnah wal Jama'ah are like, relax. You can be as relaxed as you can be. What's going on, man? Yeah, everything is great. Everything is clear. And they're sitting there, man, scratching their heads inside out, scratching their brain cells with their big long fingernails, and they're going around in vicious cycles trying to make sense out of what they've lost all sense in. They don't have a grasp of the matter. And then they have the nerve and the audacity to tell you Imam Nawawi said, Imam Nawawi, when he came, how many years after the Sahaba did Imam Nawawi come? So to claim that the Aqeedah of Al-Sunnah wal Jama'ah is going to be delivered to us from Imam Nawawi or even Ibn Taymiyyah rahimahullah, or even Ibn Qayyim or Ibn Jawzi, that means you have no idea what you're talking about. You have no idea what you're talking about. They cannot substantiate and they cannot find anything from the actual Sahaba that supports their false interpretations, and whatever they cite is often a weak, fabricated narration. But I don't want to go there because this is something that's been on my mind and we're going back and forth. So I just kind of wanted to vent a little bit with my brothers and sisters in faith. طيب, والشاهد أن, imagine if we actually gave the class like this with the Western accent of the Arabic text. It will sound like this. والشاهد أن تفكر سليمان عليه السلام لطير وفقده الهدهد يدل على كمال حزمه. Okay, I can't do this. والشاهد أن تفقد سليمان عليه السلام للطير. The bottom line is that Sulaiman's inspection of the birds and the fact that he found the bird missing, يدل, is indicative على كمال حزمه. This indicative of the strength of his resolve, and وتدبيره للملك بنفسه وكمال فطنته, and the fact that he's able to arrange his own sovereign affairs and that he is completely aware and intelligent. حتى فقد هذا الطائر الصغير, so much so that he even realized that there is a tiny little bird that is missing in terms of attendance. Wait. All right. Now, y'all like that? Yeah. Yeah, I could go there, but I don't want to go there right now. Maybe we'll do this in the Q&A. طيب. حتى فقد هذا الطائر الصغير. نعم. فقال ما لي لا أرى الهدهد أم كان من الغائبين, أي هل عدم رؤيتي إياه لقلة فطنتي به, is the reason why I cannot see him because of my unawareness of him, لكونه خفيا بين هذه الأمم الكثيرة, because he's just missing among those many nations, أم على بابها بأن كان غائبا من غير إذني ولا أمري, or is it because he is absent without my permission and without my command. فحينئذ تغيظ عليه وتوعده فقال, then he became angry. See, what did he say? أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم, لأعذبنه عذابا شديدا أو لأذبحنه أو ليأتيني بسلطان مبين. I will surely punish him with a severe punishment or slaughter him unless he brings me clear authorization. فالمهم توعده, تغيظ عليه, became angry with him, and he made that threat. فقال لأعذبنه عذابا شديدا دون القتل, meaning I will severely punish him without reaching the point of killing him. أو لأذبحنه, or I will actually slaughter him. أو ليأتيني بسلطان مبين, أي حجة واضحة على تخلفه, or he better give me a good excuse for his absence. وهذا من كمال ورعه وإنصافه, and this is because of the vastness of his cautiousness and justice. أنه لم يقسم على مجرد عقوبته بالعذاب أو القتل. He did not just make an oath to punish him or to kill him. لأن ذلك لا يكون إلا من ذنب, because that only happens if he was guilty. وغيبته قد تحتمل أن العذر واضح. He could have been absent for a valid reason. فلذلك استثناه لورع فضل. That's why he made that exception. He made that qualifying statement. He made that reservation just in case his absence was justified. Subhanallah al-Azim. فمكث غير بعيد فقال أحط بما لم تحط به وجئتك من سبأ بنبأ يقين. But he, the Hoopoe, stayed not long and said, I have encompassed in knowledge that which you have not encompassed, and I have come to you from Sheba with certain news. Is that how it's pronounced, Sheba or Sheba? Yeah, you guys are the Westerners. You tell me how it's said in your country. Or do you even have this word in your country? Al-Muhim, hey, فمكث غير بعيد ثم جاء وهذا يدل على هيبة جنوده منه وشدة ائتمارهم لأمره. So it came, and this shows you the Sheba, yeah? That's what I figured. Sheba. So it shows you the level of respect that his soldiers had and how obedient they were to him. حتى إن هذا الهدهد, so much so that this hudhud الذي خلفه العذر الواضح لم يقدر على التخلف زمنا كثيرا, that even this hudhud who had a valid excuse for his absence, he was not able to be absent for a long time. فقال لسليمان, he said to Sulaiman, أحط بما لم تحط به, أي عندي من العلم علم ما أحط به على علمك الواسع وعلو درجتك فيه. I have information that you don't have in spite of the vastness of your knowledge and the loftiness of your position. وجئتك من سبأ القبيلة المعروفة في اليمن. So this was a tribe that was known in Yemen. بنبأ يقين, أي خبر متيقن, meaning with sure information. ثم فسر إني وجدت امرأة تملكهم وأوتيت من كل شيء ولها عرش عظيم. Indeed, I found there a woman ruling them, and she has been given of all things, and she has a great throne. ثم فسر هذا النبأ فقال, so he explained this نبأ by saying, إني وجدت امرأة تملكهم, أي تملك قبيلة سبأ وهي امرأة. So then this tribe was owned by a woman. Sheba was owned by a woman. وأوتيت من كل شيء يؤتاه الملوك من الأموال والسلاح والجنود والحصون وقلوع ونحو ذلك. So she was given of everything, meaning what kings are given of wealth and weaponry and soldiers and fortresses and the likes. ولها عرش عظيم, أي كرسي ملكها الذي تجلس عليه عرش هائل, meaning her throne that she sits on is a gigantic great throne. وعظم العروش تدل على عظمة المملكة وقوة السلطان وكثرة رجال الشورى. And the greatness of the throne indicates the greatness of the kingdom and the strength of the sultan and the abundance of the counselors, people that you can consult and seek advice from. وجدتها وقومها يسجدون للشمس من دون الله وزين لهم الشيطان أعمالهم فصدهم عن السبيل فهم لا يهتدون. I found her and her people prostrating to the sun instead of Allah, and Satan has made their deeds pleasing to them and averted them from his ways, so they are not guided. نعم. So here, أي هم مشركون يعبدون الشمس. So those people were polytheists worshipping the sun. وزين لهم الشيطان أعمالهم فرأوا ما هم عليه هو الحق. So they found that whatever they're upon is the truth. And hello, and welcome to the club, my brothers and sisters in faith. My brothers and sisters in faith, my brothers. Yeah? Everybody thinks they are upon the truth. Have you noticed? Yo, I made my Twitter account, I don't know, like 10 years ago, and I hated Twitter, and I never bothered with it. And then because recently some information related to dawah was being posted on Twitter, and every time somebody will send me a link, it will open a browser and tell me, would you like to install the app, blah, blah, blah. And I wasn't able to efficiently and intuitively, go through the tweets. I figured, hey, come on now. Let me install the app and reactivate my account and see what's cracking in this world we're living in. And man, was that a mistake. Well, why was it really a mistake? But man, there are some unreal humans on Twitter. Like, no, like the Twitter people are from a different planet altogether. Some of them, I really doubt whether they're from human species. Like, I'm at a point where I'm really doubting their humanity. Yo, don't even know what to say. Account called Salafis posting their L's online or something. Some dude whose job in life is to put forward statements that any Salafi, quote unquote, says. And, and fools like this actually have followers, posts with no substance. And how much dawah can you give on Twitter when you have limited characters? It's crazy. It's absolutely crazy. So I just went there, and what happened was, it's like I entered a war, and I'm like the only soldier, right? I didn't know what was going on, so I just posted a couple of things, like some of the things we've been discussing in the Tafseer Al-Aqidah class. I just put them over there, and next thing you know, it's as though I entered into a war battle. And literally, there's like these 300 soldiers with weaponry, and I'm just standing there with my T-shirt on, and I don't have any, like, nothing. And everybody's like, yeah, cha, cha, shwa. People throwing, fireballs at me, people throwing arrows at me, people pulling out Kalashnikovs and Uzis and RPGs. Man, airplanes were flying above me, dropping, Hiroshima, atomic bombs on me. Yo, things went crazy. Things went crazy. And I'm trying to yo, wait a second, man. Yeah, give me a break. Okay. Did I really disturb your peace so much? And it's funny. I mean, if people were fair, I wouldn't mind. And we all criticize each other. It's all gravy, baby. You can criticize me all you want. I'm not tripping. You can criticize me, but have some sense, though. You know what I'm saying? Like be a little civilized about it. Be a little. And I'm mean. When people are mean to me, I have the tendency to be mean back to them, which I hate about myself. To be honest with you, I wish I was more benevolent and more, I don't know, more encompassing, but I'm not. It's something that I work on myself. Make dua for you, brother. I make dua for myself that Allah guide me to the best character. No one guides to the best character except you. I genuinely need it, because in me, I have an arsenal of some really nasty replies. Like, if I want to go back to my days of Jahiliyyah, man, I would put tears in each and every one of their eyes. Believe me, I would say things that are so mean, I would make them break their phones and destroy their monitors, because they would want to retaliate and kill me, and they have no access to me because I'm so far away. But I can't go there. The most I could do is just say, a couple of mean things. And for the most part, I try to be nice about it. But anyways, long story short is that, that's what happened on Twitter. Yeah, I know, being so nice isn't that right, Amatullah? That's right. So I mean, I try to be moderate. I'm nice to certain people, mean to others. I reciprocate some harm with evil with evil, and I try to reciprocate some evil with good. It depends on the individual I'm dealing with. But anyways, what I did find out for sure is exactly what this ayah is saying. These are people worshiping the sun. You're worshiping the sun, ya Abu Mukh Mafi. Abu Mukh Mafi. Mukh Mafi. Zero brain. You worship in the sun, ya Ta'ban. The sun is available now, gone later. The sun, which is a creation of Allah. The sun that is not worthy of being worshipped. But what is the key here? وَزَيَّنَ لَهُمُ الشَّيْطَانُ أَعْمَالَهُم. And Satan has beautified, made their deeds pleasing to them. The Shaykh said, فَرَأَوْ مَا هُمْ عَلَيْهِ وَالْحَقِّ. They see that what they're upon is the truth. And you speak to a sun worshipper, and I'm sure they were very, they were very adamant. They were very persistent on the justification of the worship of the sun, that the sun deserves to be worshipped. And you, muwahid, you're a Wahhabi, Mujassim, Hashawi, Madkhali, what else? Jami, Salafi, Taimi, Albani, Bambani, Walani, Manani, Wani, whatever. Yeah, that's their thing. They have yaqeen that they're upon the truth, and they have yaqeen that we are bootlickers. They have yaqeen that we are bootlickers, madkhali, deviant people that have rendered Allah into a human being. And no matter how much you try to reason with these people, like, yo, man, you're missing a lot of things here, and you're twisting facts, and you're the misguided one. It doesn't penetrate. It doesn't get through. Why? Because this is the job of the shaitan. So where do you want to be? A submitter to the textual evidence or a follower of your intellectual desires? فهم لا يهتدون, therefore they will never be guided. لأن الذي يرى أن الذي عليه حق لا مطمع في هدايته حتى تتغير عقيدته. الله أكبر, رحمك الله يا شيخ, رحمة الله على الشيخ عبد الرحمن ناصر السعدي. Because the one who sees that he's upon the truth, there's no hope in his guidance until he changes his aqidah. Until he changes his aqidah. The one who sees that he's upon the truth, there's no hope in that person's guidance until there's a change in his aqidah. And this is why we preach aqidah. And that's why we're trying to deliver to them the sound aqidah, so that when we change the foundation, they will be able to see, oh, I see now. But if they're not willing to open up, they tell us do the same. They claim that we're not doing that. Wallahi, we do that all the time. I'm open to everything. I'm open to everything. Bring it on. You are yet to find anyone that can oppose the way of the Salaf. You're not going to find anyone that can oppose the way of the Salaf. There's nothing better than what they left us upon. You understand what I'm saying? المهم يا شيخ, خلي والي صديقه هرى كفاية إلى اليوم فيما بعد أسبوع كريم. Inshallah, we will continue with ayah number 25 onwards. Because it's an important ayah. Now, I'm sure y'all just itching for some Q&A. And I only have 10 minutes precisely, after which I need to bounce. So, yalla, let's make this happen. Okay. Does each and every Muslim got to have ijazah from a scholar to teach Islam to others and even basic issues like Tawheed al-Shirk or books of Muhammad Wahab? No. Not every Muslim need to have an ijazah from a scholar. If you have one, فَنِعِمَّ بِهَا وَخَيْرٌ وَبَرَكَةٌ. And if you don't, it doesn't matter, as long as you know the sound understanding of the subject matters and you have the proper qualifications, then it's fine for you to teach to a limited number of people. Now, if you're going to go on a larger scale, then even if you don't have an ijazah, you do need to have those who are senior to you kind of confirm that you're capable and you're qualified to give da'wah. So we don't want to go to either extreme. First extreme is you have to have an ijazah from Sheikh Fulan, from Sheikh Fulan, from Sheikh Fulan, from Sheikh Fulan. And the other extreme is, no, it doesn't matter. Anybody with a microphone, come online and start giving da'wah. No, neither one is correct. If you're going to start publicly addressing Islamic matters, you do need to have people that are more senior than you say, okay, you're ready to go. You're fit for this job. Otherwise, every day we have a new face and this person comes out of nowhere talking about every subject matter without their proper qualifications. Now, I'm in a dilemma. My family is fighting about inheritance. Should I take my rights and leave my families? What is your advice? Leave the families. La ya akhil aziz. Why? They're fighting about inheritance. Then, you referred back to a Muslim judge and you go with what Allah Azza wa Jal had already detailed in His Quran about the breakdown and the distribution of al-irth, inheritance. It's in the Quran. What's the dispute about? And take your rights and keep kinship ties. You cannot leave your families. It's your family. Next. What are your thoughts on Sheikh Minshawi? People say he was deviant, but I heard Sheikh Al-Bani, Sheikh Al-Bas praised him. Minshawi is a reciter of the Quran. Deviant about what? He never gave lectures. I'm not familiar with Al-Minshawi talking about Islam. All we know that he's recited the Quran. You're just hearing him recite the Quran. So I don't know anything about him being a deviant. Nah. And if you have Al-Bani and Bin Baz praising him, who cares about what anyone else thinks, really? Next. Resident scholar of my masjid is someone that you made multiple videos against and said he has deviated. Is it permissible for me to listen to his lectures when I'm in the masjid? Should I say his name? You could say his name. And no, you shouldn't listen to his lectures when you're in the masjid. If the person has deviated, then he's going to poison you with his thoughts and with his speech. If I told you that this room has a virus, this room has virus in it, would you go and sit in that room and just hope that the virus doesn't transfer to you? And I'm not going to say corona just in case you believe that the whole corona is a hoax. So I'm saying, would you go to a room where there's a bacteria or virus or any illness? No, you wouldn't. So why would you, if you're not willing to poison your body, why would you poison your faith? Now, next, are you thinking of visiting the U.S. in the future? If so, you should visit Minnesota, the Timberwolves. There are a lot of Muslims here, especially Somalis. Also, can you mention some of the exceptions of backbiting? Wallahi, there's no plan to visit the US, Habibi. To be honest with you, not now, nor in the future. Allahu alam what Allah holds for us, though. So that's beyond me. If I do go there, I don't know if I'll really go to Minnesota. I usually don't just go to places if people don't invite me, just so we can be clear. Somebody has to say, hey, can you come here and do something? You don't just go to a city and say, hey, I'm this guy on YouTube. Yalla, I'm going to prepare my own lecture. You guys come and listen. Doesn't happen. Hayya Allah Somalia wa Ahl Somal. Barakallah fikum. Exceptions of backbiting, yes, is when you're warning against a deviant person, when you're seeking a fatwa from a scholar and you need to mention the name of the person so that you could detail it. When someone asks you about marriage potential, a spouse, a candidate for marriage, fulan, the father of the bride, potential bride, wants to investigate about the man who's proposing to, for his daughter's hand. He needs to ask people, and the people that are asked must tell him the truth. No, he's a liar, he's a cheater, he doesn't pray in the jama'ah, he's a ghashash, ila akhiri. They have to tell them, and all these are exceptions to backbiting. Naam. Imam Nawawi actually mentioned all of them in I believe, Riyadh al-Salihin, so you can refer back to that. Naam. Yallah, yallah. Please demonstrate the right way of adhan. Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah. Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah. أشهد أن محمد رسول الله أشهد أن محمد رسول الله حي على الصلاة حي على الصلاة حي على الفلاح حي على الفلاح الله أكبر الله أكبر لا إله إلا الله, with a voice better than mine, because my voice is -15. I understand. So I'm not telling you the voice aspect, but that's how the adhan, because it's Arabic language and you have to follow the same ahkam of the tajweed, and end of story. All this it's like somebody's running over a cat and the soul is departing from its body, and you feel like la hawla wa la quwwata illa billah, there's animals being killed in the forest. So for somebody to finish the adhan, and then he starts calling the adhan at 12 o'clock, and you go take a nap, and you wake up and he still hasn't finished the adhan. إيش هذا يا أبوي أنت إيش مفتكر هذا؟ Hey. Aslan, you cannot stretch the letters beyond what's acceptable. Don't make me next. I'm the type of individual that completely cuts off conversing with non-mahrams, even salam. Except my siblings, still people call me awkward. Am I upon the right understanding? No, you're fine, brother. Let them call you awkward, barakallah fiqh. Let them call you awkward all they want. No problem, Habibi. Don't speak to women, end of story. Jazakallah khair. The further you stay away, the safer you are. Hey. Yallah. I've read that after repenting, we should be convinced that Allah has forgiven us. Scholars also say we should be scared that Allah hasn't forgiven us. Continue repenting. Where should we stand? You should stand in the middle. You have yaqeen. If you have fulfilled the conditions of tawbah, then yes, rest assured that Allah Azza wa Jal will forgive you. But don't become arrogant, wherein even if you're not fulfilling the conditions of tawbah, you just assume that Allah Azza wa Jal accepted you, or that you become amazed with yourself. That's all. That's where the balance is struck. Now, during congregational salah, if the first row is full, where do I start the second row? A roll or row? You mean row. Also, if someone's already started from the far right, do I join him or start from the middle behind the imam? If someone started on the far right, then join him. But if you were to be there, then you would start from behind the imam also. Now, the second row from behind the imam after the first row. What does the term jing bing mean? Also, jingy bingy? Oh, what's more likely to happen? Use an iPhone or Benjamin going to MBA? I saw your vlog is a good martial artist too. Type. First of all, jingy bingy is one of the invented words that I come up with on the go, in an improvised, impromptu manner. So this is my this is just me, the element of craziness that resides within me. Extemporaneous. There you go. That's the word I'm looking for. So it doesn't mean anything. It's just random letters put together to divert the discussion into something else. What's more likely to happen? Benjamin going to the MBA, I believe, is more likely to happen before I use an iPhone, inshallah ta'ala. He's a good martial artist. If you insist, I'm going to submit. I'm not going to argue with you about that. Benjamin is a beast, mashallah. Next. In your lecture, Plots and Reactions, you said protesting is haram, but some Sunni brothers in the UK protested to get the Rafidi movie banned and succeeded. Isn't that proof that protesting can be good? No. No, it is not proof that it can be good, because once again, we are aware of the fact that a lot of things that you do will have good, but the harm will outweigh the good. And because the outweighing harm, we can no longer do them. We've never denied that there's good in protesting. There's some good for sure. You do have some impact and some influence. It does bring about results. No problem. Let's acknowledge. Okay, now that we have the good on one side of the scale, let's go to the other side of the scale and put all the harm. And the harm will always exceed the good. And therefore, it remains to be a problem, because it's not from the way of the Prophet ﷺ. Now, طيب, that was the last question for the day. Wait, put that Muhammad Ali. That brother is a good brother, mashallah, tabarakallah. Wahsh Muhammad Ali, mashallah. I always watch your and read your replies on the channel. First of all, I would like to extend a statement of appreciation and gratitude to you. Jazakallah khair for first being a subscriber, second for defending the Aqidah and the Manhaj, and for taking time to actually respond to some of the comments that the people leave with evidences and with, I believe, some really hard work, well researched. So Allah bless you for that, akhi, barakallah feek. The Adibandis have recently attacked Shaykh Uthman by cherry picking his videos and claiming that he does not know how to recite the Quran, insulting him, as you know. How do we respond? I've already responded in the last class, bro. The Ubandis are the last people to criticize anyone, because they themselves don't know how to recite the Quran. So those two clowns that were making fun of him, they themselves need a teacher. So يعني ارحمني. Second of all, it is a problem, and I believe the Sheikh and the brother, I don't even want to call him a Sheikh, the brother Uthman must work on this. It is inexcusable to be giving da'wah and not have a proper command of the Arabic language in general, and then the speech of Allah specifically, especially when the average Muslim is able to articulate and to pronounce those words and those verses properly. So if the average Muslim is able to do it, then a student of knowledge by default should be more capable. I think he might be busy doing more important things, or important things that he perceives to be important, but nothing is more important than fixing this particular issue. Why? First of all, because we represent Islam, so we want to be as qualified as possible. Second of all, we close the door for deviants now to use that against us and to claim that we're underqualified or unfit for da'wah. They don't deserve that advantage, honestly. They don't deserve it, and it's something that could be addressed and amended, and therefore it should be addressed and amended. And with this, inshallah ta'ala, we conclude the dars. We'll see you tomorrow for the Aqidah class. Bi'idhnillah azza wa jalla. Jazakumullahu khairan. Barakallahu fikum. Subhanakallahumma bihamdik. Ashhadu an la ilaha illa ant. Ashhadu an la ilaha illa ant. Astaghfiruka wa atubu ilaik. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.